Build a polished wardrobe that shows you stay you wherever you go with Mack Weldon. Use code MAC25 for 25% off your first order of $125 or more at MackWeldon.com.
According to Saltus Wealth, 41% of high net worth individuals report having been victims of financial crime. Are you next? High-profile individuals like you need more than off-the-shelf solutions. You need concierge digital security from Reputation Defender. It's not just another app. It's a team of experts using best-in-class tools to protect you and your family, covering virtually every aspect of your digital life. Visit ReputationDefender.com/success to learn more. That's ReputationDefender.com/success.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Good to have you on board. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Mike Palm in on a Friday for Paulie Howard. We will get into more F5 numbers, first 5 K props coming up in about 15 minutes. We'll dive into the WNBA. And here we'll get into a very busy baseball card. And I'll begin by asking you, Mike, because we do have games starting in like 40 minutes. So, you know, the numbers here for the audience just tuning in, they still want to make a bet. They want to get an opinion on where they should look. I mean, the numbers are going to be shaped pretty much at this point. So they still might move a little bit. Lineups are out, obviously. But when, and you guys take a lot of sharp money here again, when do you guys typically start to see the money start to come in from people that you respect on the baseball card every single day?
It comes in when we post the numbers on the overnights, in the evenings, and which depends. Could be 7 to 9 o'clock each night, depending on what's going on. Money will come in. Now, the limits go up once the lineups come out.
That's right.
So everybody understands. We're not comfortable taking huge bets until if we know who's playing, at least in the starting lineup that night.
There's a flow every single day to the baseball booking that you guys do here, right? When limits are going to go up a little bit higher. Yeah, sure.
Do you remember a few years ago at the South Point when they didn't put the overnights up?
I do.
And everybody lost their minds.
I do, yeah.
Remember? They didn't put them up till like 8 in the morning.
That's right, yeah.
Baseball is the sport where these numbers move more than any other. You can sit there and track them by the 15, 30 minutes, and these numbers are constantly in flux.
I remember Chris Bennett, who is the manager here at the Circus Sportsbook. He tweeted this out, I'm going to say a couple years ago. The game just started, and he goes, the Yankees number today, whomever they were playing, I don't remember the team. He goes, the number never moved from the minute that we posted it until first pitch just now. He said, I believe it was something like, I will likely never see that ever again. So that'll tell you.
Right. And he manages all our baseball in addition to being the director. We were hoping to have him on today to discuss most wins in July and how he comes up with the numbers, but he didn't get it done to post it yet. So he'll be working on that tonight. But that would have, at some point, you and Paul, or whenever we're on, we should have that discussion with him and all his thought press. You said like July is the most variance for games played because of the All-Star break, and probably the most variance because of the shorter sample size, too.
I think he came on right before the June totals were posted, and he was dynamite on it for talking with us for like 10 minutes. Is that defeating the purpose a little bit from the bettor? Wanting to get the number immediately when they know that the limits are going to go up in the morning if they just wait? But if they do that, somebody else is going to do it anyway.
That, or they have some information that they know what the lineup's going to be, or their groups that are playing numbers they think are off. These pros all have their own number, right, on a game, and they all have they're spitting out their own model and finding numbers they think are off of it, and then they're going to try to get down as much as they can.
Sure. Well, okay, so people right now tuning in, and again, games, this, for example, the Mets game at the Pirates starting in T-minus 37 minutes. Peterson takes on Keller. The opening number was the Mets around minus 160. They are down to minus 137 here at Circa. They're around minus 140, 144 at other spots. In fact, I'm seeing a $1.34 offshore right now. What would you make of the number? Is that too much of a move, 20, 25 cents towards the Pirates?
It's a very heavy move on Mitch Keller, who's 1-10.
Yeah.
I started tracking this around 5:30 this morning. It was still 155 Mets this morning. So this movement has come later, and with the lineups. To me, I know there's a school of thought you don't play against the move, but you're getting to a point where the Mets are looking awfully attractive in this spot.
I would agree.
Peterson's been good. They lose Canning last night and still got their way through that game. That was big to win the last two games against Atlanta.
How about that injury, by the way?
Oh,
good God.
The kid having a great year, too.
Absolutely.
What a find for them.
Yes.
They picked him up. He was pitching dynamite. I was watching here. I was sick because you knew what happened.
Right. Yeah, you knew right away.
Right away.
Yeah.
And I was also thinking, how am I going to get through the next 7 innings here and get it?
Well, with your bet,
with my 105.
Selfishly speaking,
also, that was also on my mind. But and I had bet a first 5 under 3.5 too. And I go, no, I got to go to the bullpen. I'm going to lose both bets. But they got there. So. Yeah, I mean, my fair price on this game was Mets around 150. So, now you're getting to the point where it's almost about. I'm going to stick with the first 5 under 4.5. Under 4.5.
Or under 4.5.
Lay the see the best price I can find in the market. Maybe I can find 118 or something.
Yeah, and here on the screen, I'm actually seeing minus 135 at Circa. Yeah. That feels like a pretty good number to hop in with the Mets. Dylan Cease takes on Nick Martinez tonight. Padres playing against the Reds. Padres open up minus 130. A little bit of money on the Reds. Total still at 9. I got to tell you, Dylan Cease, he can be great. I can't bet this guy. Where are you at? Is he one of your fakest aces in the league?
Well, I never thought he was the ace.
Okay.
I always thought Darvish was the ace. But he's been wildly disappointing this year. He can be so good.
Yeah.
Right?
Struck out 11 Dodgers in one of his previous starts.
We always think he's going to have no-hit stuff once a month or so, or flirting with that. But he's really hard to bet, and I'm not as high on the Reds as some others are around here that think the Reds are still alive to win this division. I just think they give away too many games, Mitch. If you watch this team play every day, there's like 2 games a week that are like giveaway games for them, that they just seem like they're content. They get behind early, and there's not much fight. They have no planning going into the game. I'm going to give Francona a pass on this year.
You are? Okay.
But before I downgrade, because I thought he was an excellent manager. But the signs here are that they're not a serious team. Nick Martinez hasn't been good either here. In the small park, you might consider a total of 9. I'm not an overs player, but 9 might be a good spot here.
Yeah, with the heat and humidity in that part of Cleveland this time of year. In Cincinnati, and that happens to be like one of the best hitter ballparks in the entire league.
The Great American Small Park. I mentioned this to you, I think, on Wednesday. Chris Paddock's interview after he pitched there last week, he said, I've never in my professional career thrown off a mound that was this short.
Interesting. Okay. Mick Abel goes tonight for Philadelphia, off to a nice start. Only had a couple of appearances so far for Philly, but he's taking on Elder and the Braves. Braves opened up $140 on the screen right now. I'm seeing as high as $178. You want to buy into this Phillies team at a nice plus price tonight, even though they're in awful shape offensively.
Dare we call this a big series in June?
I think we kind of have to.
This is a big series this weekend. I just am not an Elder guy. I can't. How could you lay 170 with Elder? Are you going to say, well, the Phillies aren't going to score for the 4th straight day? Maybe, but Abel's numbers aren't awful. That's a pass for me. I'm just going to interestingly watch this series this weekend. I think the Braves must win 2 out of 3 here.
I think they pretty much have to.
Remember, you talked about the struggle to try to surpass 2 teams.
Right.
It's hard for them, and Mets are playing in Pittsburgh, so you're going to think they're going to probably win that series too. It's if you go 1-2 or 0-3 this weekend for the Braves, watch that number move.
Good call. Okay, American League here starting in about an hour. The Rays are playing at Baltimore. It's Pepio versus Sagano. And the Rays, I got to tell you, man, they opened up $120. They're blistering hot right now. It really hasn't moved that much. It's $125 here. I see $1.23. I mean, I don't like this Sagano guy.
He's like 37 years old. That's Sagano?
Yeah.
He pitched for like 15 years in Japan. It's pretty amazing. I did some research because he pitched a very good game against the Angels early in the year. I said, who is this guy? And so I looked into his career. Look, we got up to 130 at one point on the Rays today.
Okay.
That was the highest number I saw. I almost should be obligated to bet them, right? I've been riding them all along. Maybe I'll play them first 5. That's 130 or 133 or something like that, first 5. With the numbers Kevin gave us, how strong they've been. They've only lost the first 5 once in 12 games. Mm-hmm. That's pretty strong. I laugh at this when they play because when Derek had the whole concept of stadium swim and everyone would come, and this was before, we modified, obviously. We played DJ music most of the time.
Right.
Except during NFL and big, and I was saying, who's coming here to listen to the Rays and the Orioles on a Thursday morning at 10 a.m.? That was always my example. This is crazy. You have to play music. Right, not everybody needs that volume.
Oh, so people actually were fighting the other way.
The thought was it was going to be the volume was going to be on sports the whole time the venue was open.
Yeah.
It's sports is in the background of the day drinking and all of that, right?
That's a tough sell then. You're right.
And if you really want to listen to the game, you get a cabana, and then you control your own TV and the volume.
There you go. Yeah. I don't know. I think the Rays look like a pretty good bet tonight at that number. I don't hate that at all. You want to do anything here with Toronto and Boston? Barrios takes on Bayo.
That's the Malinsky. That's a big Malinsky.
The Malinsky.
Because the Red Sox have been on the road, and Colin Murphy pointed that out. Colin_Murphy84 pointed that out on Twitter to us, Mitch. 9-game West Coast road trip. Barrios, of all the guys pitching tonight, who do you think has the most innings this year? Jose Barrios has
completed. Does he really?
95. I wouldn't have guessed that. But he's put in 95 innings, and what's the number on this? Oh, the Red Sox have moved to a decent favorite. This was Blue Jays -110 at 6 this morning here.
Yeah, you can grab that plus money right now with Toronto. The way they're playing. Like you said with the Mets game, I really don't feel like going against the market in these games, but I'm not betting the Red Sox at this number, I'll tell you that.
I'm not a Bello guy either. I always think he has control issues. Too many runners.
What game did we not get to here that you like or you have a bet on?
I did bet the White Sox, +153. Savali was bad the first 2 innings. He got through 7 innings in Toronto in that game. I just think this guy has a lot to prove. He ran his mouth about losing his spot to Mizorowski. How's that aging? And the Giants really scuffled in that series, so why not take another shot? I'll do it again. Lose twice in 1 week with the White Sox.
He doesn't really have much to point at anymore, does he?
At least he has to come up with some sort of performance to justify his position.
Right, he's got to bounce back, actually.
It's all about trying to get a next contract next year as a starting pitcher is what Jensen was explaining to me, why he had to take that stand.
Yeah, did you see that? By the way, somebody tweeted us, I think it was late last night, they found the Brewers at a national book 35-1 to win the National League.
10 points better than what I got at 25-1.
35-1. They're also, that was at Caesars, I believe. I think they're at plus 550 to win their division.
Wow.
So they're much higher on the Cubs than I think anybody else. We'll continue talking Major League Baseball up next. We'll dive into first 5 and K-props. A team is 12-0-3 in their last 15 games in this situation. Find out which one it is next.
Build a polished wardrobe that shows you stay you wherever you go with Mack Weldon. Use code MAC25 for 25% off your first order of $125 or more at MackWeldon.com.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Tune into Money Moves earlier this week. They had a guest on betting on baseball, and he said that he exclusively bets first 5s. And I got to tell you, kind of like that idea. I am not opposed to taking that approach.
That's all I used to do is bet first 5 unders.
Unders, I know. You were big into that.
That's it.
You got out of that for what reason?
Well, the whole thing, the DH, that I think ruined a lot of it.
Okay.
I would try to find undervalued pitchers of the American League where they would be 5.5s. There was a kid that pitched for Oakland, and then he came in was with the Aces for a while. Danny Mingden, that I used to like to bet. Brad Keller was another one, who's doing a good job in relief for the Cubs this year. Bad Brad Keller was another guy.
Okay.
5.5s that I would try to play.
All right, so I'm going to throw these out there. You can tell me if it means anything or not. But these, again, we had Kevin Rogers on earlier today. Great numbers. He tracks his stuff all year long, shares them, and is dynamite at this stuff. The Cubs are the number. Well, they have one. They've been like at the top or near the top all year long. They are 41, 26, and 14 in the first 5. And when I rattle off some of these numbers, if you're driving around right now, you're going to say, well, that's a lot of pushes. Again, it's the first 5, so you're going to have a lot of games that are tied.
You know what's surprising? I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mitch. You think about the Cubs as all these comebacks that they've had, right? And they're never out of a game and all that. That anecdotally surprises me that they're that good in the first 5.
Yeah, still, 25 game or 15 games over 500 there. Astros 44, 27, and 10. They have really been coming on though here with this heat check that they've had pretty much the entire month here of June. The Mets are 43, 30, and 9. The Yankees are 44, 25, and 11. The Phillies are 42, 23, and 17. That's all in the first 5. The worst first 5 teams in baseball. Guess which team is the worst in baseball?
Well, it kind of is correlated to their overall record, I would assume.
That would be correct.
But look how the White Sox are not on this list.
No, they're not.
Huh?
They were
so
actually
they're okay in the first 5.
They were rock solid actually for a while, I think, in the first 5.
I should bet Savali first 5 then.
Do that then.
Okay.
Yep, add
Let's
that.
do that.
Rockies are 19, 48, and 12. The Nationals are 27, 42, and 12. The Marlins are 26, 39, and 14, and the Guardians are 27, 40, and 12. Some trendy teams here in the first 5. The Rays are 8, 1, and 3 in their last 12. There you go. You talked about that in the previous segment. The Brewers 8, 2, and 2 in the last 12. What do you make of the Brewers bullpen? No more Devin Williams, who Yankees fans really love.
The back end, you have to say you have to downgrade it because of that, right?
A little bit.
But I think he manages it well, and I think it's deep. I think they have a lot of... They're very good, I think, in the 6th and 7th, better than other teams. Bridging
the gap?
Bridging the gap.
The Phillies are 22, 9, and 7, first 5, last 38.
Well, sure, they tie 0-0 after 5. They get all the pushes.
Right, yes, there you go. The Nationals, it's been bad this month, 6, 12, and 5 in their last 23 games. And here's a team that I talked about before the break. This is after a first 5 loss. The Diamondbacks are 12, 0, and 3 in the first 5.
What do you make of that? What can you draw from that after a first 5 loss, they don't lose the next game first 5?
They have a great coach,
Does
great manager, and they get fired up.
We're not going to get behind tonight.
Is that right? We're not trailing at halftime of the game, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink.
So here's what's interesting to me. Look at these best 5 teams. What would you associate with being very good in the first 5? Starting pitching?
No doubt.
Would you say the Cubs are an elite starting pitching team?
They're good, not elite.
No. Astros, pretty good.
Well, lately, absolutely.
But pretty good.
Yes.
Mets? No.
No.
Yankees?
No.
Phillies, yes. But like only 2 out of these 5 teams that are the best first 5 teams, would you note that starting pitching is their strength?
Yeah, sure.
That's interesting.
No, that's a good point. No doubt. Opposing pitcher K-props. The Tigers are, their starting pitchers are 22-6 to the over the last 28 games against Detroit. The Guardians, starting pitchers against this team, 18-5 over last 23 games. Sonny Gray's prop is 5.5, juiced heavily to the over. And again, at vsin.com, I would encourage everybody to go and become a member today, vsin.com/subscribe. Part of it you're going to find now is the new partnership that we have with ballparkpal.com, and they have like awesome numbers to take a peek at. Their projection for Sonny Gray tonight is 6.92. And so, 6.92, and their projected odds over 6.5 was minus 129. You can find like plus 132 over 6.5. So they think that's almost 31% of value.
Number 5.5 for him tonight?
It's
right?
like minus 160 now.
Oh, okay.
But their number at 6.92, based on the odds that are available compared to their projected odds, what they would make over 6.5, it would say worth a bet.
At 6.5, not 5.5.
If you maybe if you want to ladder them then.
Okay.
Right? That's probably one approach there. Merrill Kelly, who has been talked about more than he's ever been talked about ever in the history of this network, probably today. It's 5.5, projected for 6.45 on the website. He has gone over his K-prop in 9 straight games. But, we had a guest on last hour, Doug Kralstein. The number has moved because the jury's out here on Merrill Kelly and how effective he has been and efficient going over his K-prop. The rub is this: the Marlins opposing pitchers are 18-3 to the under. And they've only struck out 19% of the time in the month of June. That is the 3rd lowest mark in all of Major League Baseball. 13 of the last 15 starters against Miami have had 5 Ks or fewer.
That's really impressive. You're not going to play this prop?
I'm going to stay away.
Yeah.
Is that the proper approach?
I think so. Merrill Kelly throws harder than you think.
He's not awful.
No, I always thought he'd more of a finesse, but he had some pop.
Yeah, he's at least he's good.
Right,
he's good.
That's why that young staff with him and Gallen and that was very underrated for
sure.
Right, as Arizona was coming back into relevance.
I think, what could have been this year for Arizona potentially, huh?
Well, but you knew Burns was no good.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah. Opposing pitchers are 5-0, last 5 to the under against the Cardinals. Luis Ortiz's prop is 4.5, I should say. But again, on the website vsin.com, they project him for 5.33 tonight.
Yeah, Imanaga didn't have many strikeouts yesterday, even though he pitched well.
No, he did not. The Pirates are 13-6 to the over when they face left-handed pitchers. They take on David Peterson today, 23.4% K rate versus his current Pirates roster. Prop is 4.5, over -165 at vsin.com. Ballpark Pal projects him for 4.12 Ks tonight, so that'd be an under for them.
Yeah.
Even though it's trending the other way for the Pirates.
So I think we pass. Trend over, ballpark says slightly under.
I'm going to regret not betting Merrill Kelly, right?
For 10 in a row?
For 10 in a row. Come in right at the right time. Haven't bet him once yet. It's really looking great tonight.
If you flip the coin, and it's been 9 heads, it's got...
Nathan Eovaldi, according to the website, good value, over 5.5, because they make the projected odds at +128 over 5.5, but that number is available at +240. I would ask you this: how long is Nathan Eovaldi going to go tonight? And if he gives you 5 innings, is he going to strike out 6 Mariners? I would think no. I think he has to go more than 5 innings tonight.
You were right about that Scherzer the other night, weren't you?
He struck out the side in the first.
No, but the outs, wasn't the outs what you liked under?
Yeah, but it was not available anyway.
Yeah, but
I looked again after the show.
You were right about it.
I couldn't find it. Yeah, so
a little bit of that, not quite to the extreme. I would think that 6 would be the ceiling, but you're more likely to have 5 or 5 and some change.
Yeah. What do you think of this Jose Soriano going for the Angels?
Oh, you know who loves him? JVT loves him. He's a big fan. Well, he's an Angels fan. You know this Angels team is 500, man?
Yeah, I can't believe
it. I said the Angels could be in play for a wild card.
That's pretty astonishing.
Want to bet smarter this football season? VSiN Pro can help you start strong. Our new NFL betting guide comes out on Tuesday, this Tuesday, July 1st, and early access means a better shot at spotting value in future markets before the lines move. Now's the perfect time to join with our football special. Crazy Bill 80, he's added again just $175 for full access from today all the way, Mitch, through the Super Bowl. That's every sport we cover every day at this special early bird price. The sooner you sign up, the more you get out of it. A daily best bet email from Bill early in the morning that details all of our picks from both our hosts and all of the guests. Real-time betting splits from Circa and from DraftKings, live and on-demand shows via our app, the VSiN Watch app, and full access to all of the betting tools, pro systems, and analytics. Go to vsin.com/subscribe and lock in the football special for just $175. How many months is this? Like 7 months for $175?
What a deal.
That's vsin.com/subscribe.
He truly has earned the nickname Crazy Bill 80 for offering that deal.
He'll beat anybody's price.
I think, there you go. Up next, time to dive into the WNBA. It's a loaded 5-game slate, Mike. All right? I know that you can't wait to bet these games here on a Friday night. They're playing a back-to-back after another alarming loss. A very intriguing game that we'll talk about next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll get to our best bets in pocket plays here on a Friday. Mitch Moss along with Mike Palm, live downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. You're probably the biggest critic currently going with Caitlin Clark.
Would you stop?
So they played last... What? Go ahead.
I'm going to tell you that I think sometimes she's a little... for a Catholic girl that went to West Des Moines Dowling High School, I think her use of profanity in some of these exchanges on the court is a little off-putting to me.
If you were her dad, what would you say to her?
Well, I think he did say something to
he
her.
Did.
Right?
One of the
in
games he did,
It was the
yeah.
second-round game where they were big favorites, and they were tied late in that game against West Virginia. And she said she didn't say that. But anyhow, there's a lot of such politics that go into it. The WNBA is a fascinating thing because of all the identity and racial politics that go into it. I don't know how that affects teams on the court from a betting perspective, but Bonner leaving this team is very puzzling. I was going to ask your buddy Hoffmeyer. I didn't know how fired up you were about the WNBA. I had like 7 WNBA questions, but
Oh, you could tell me that next time.
No, I just assumed. But I'm disappointed of Stephanie White. Now, I know she's left and Robin Roberts' mother's sick or whatever, but didn't you expect this team to take a step forward because of the coaching upgrade between Christy Sides and Stephanie White? I'm not seeing it right now, Mitch.
No, people could not wait to get her out of town last year.
Right? But to Hoffmeyer's point about their half-court defense, and I was watching against the Aces in the second half, I'm like, maybe you should deny the ball to Asia Wilson when you can't stop her when she catches it in the point, but they're just going to let her put her in there every time.
Right.
I mean, she had a bad shooting half in the first half. Things were going to even out, and of course she took over the game in the second half. I don't understand some of the defensive philosophy, but I've been disappointed in that. So I'm kind of upset because I thought this Indiana team would take a step forward and that they would be an Elite 3 team or at least an Elite 4 team. Right now they're not in the top half of the league.
No,
in their performance.
When Max Hoffmeyer was on 2 hours ago, you can always go back and listen to the podcast, search Follow the Money wherever you get your podcast. He's with Shot Quality Bets. And he thinks he's down to 3 teams, and he bet exactas.
He likes Phoenix, too.
He likes Phoenix. Mm-hmm. I got a message from Doug Kazarian after that segment, and he goes, Phoenix is absolutely live to win this whole thing. And he thinks there are good numbers out there on the team. So how did books open up the Fever as 6.5 or 7-point favorites last night then? They lost on the road.
I wouldn't have opened the number at all.
Oh, I
would have held the number off the board till you knew.
That's totally fine then.
If you have a player, let me ask you something. Would you book, as a person, I wouldn't be booking baseball if I didn't know Barry Bonds was going to play. And I'm not saying she's Barry Bonds, but she's that much of a difference to the line.
I mean, people
right?
are,
It's like if Lamar Jackson's not going to play. Josh, these are 6 and 7 point line moves in the NFL.
Oh, no doubt.
Right? You can't put the number up if you don't know. If you don't know they're going to play. I didn't assume they were just resting her for a back-to-back. It says she has a groin injury.
That's exactly right.
Didn't I don't know if it was you or it was Matt the other day. I said, there's something wrong with her leg that she's shooting 1 for 22 from 3. She's not getting the lift. I mean, it's not even close, Mitch.
Right.
The shots are way off.
Yep.
And she's trying to shoot her way out of it, and it's not happening. I mean, my assumption would have been she wasn't going to play in either game. But they put a number out like she's in the lineup to lay 7.5 points.
Well, just like last night, the number opened up 11. Right? It crashed down to like 5.5. They got outscored again with 35-17 in the fourth quarter. What are your numbers again currently on last four games? Yeah.
Since they blew out the Connecticut Sun in that game with all the fighting. Blew a lead in Golden State, lost to the Valkyries, outscored 33-17. We're up 10 in the third in Las Vegas against the Aces, outscored 31-20 in the fourth. They were up 19 and got down to, it was a 6-point lead in the fourth, they won the game, but being outscored in Seattle by the Storm 28-19, and then by a Sparks team that was, 4-10? Were outscored 35-17 at home in the fourth last night.
Amazing. You know how difficult it is to give up 35 points in any quarter in the WNBA?
They're averaging giving up 33 the last 4.
That's hideous. So, again, opened 11 last night, closed in that 5 neighborhood, 5.5, lost outright, bad fourth quarter. You just documented that. Last night for this game now opened up in that 7 neighborhood. Well, Caitlin Clark's not going to play again. Down to 1.5. I see a 2 out there. DK's at 2 actually right now. Should they be favored?
No, I think Dallas should be a small home favorite.
And I would agree with that. It's unfortunate we're not going to get Paige Beckers versus Caitlin Clark here in this game.
You also have to look at the spot. Dallas is rested.
Yeah,
and they come 3 West Coast home and right back to Dallas on a back-to-back. It's a terrible scheduling spot. Forget about all the other stuff about her being out and how badly they played in the fourth. Just off a scheduling spot, you've got to give Dallas 3 points here.
Dallas has played 9 straight unders in the first quarter. The Fever have played 3 unders in the last 4 games in the first quarter. I played under 43.5 in this game, laid a little bit of juice as well. There's also the angle here where the team is not nearly as efficient. Hello, Captain Obvious here with Caitlin Clark, sidelined in a game. So I'll buy in a little bit of that. And the Dallas team, the Wings, they've been playing really, really good defense on top of it. So I would agree. I think they should be favored in this game.
What's Paige Becker's averaging per game?
17, 18 a game.
Really?
That's my guess.
Well, there's a profit boost here on my app. I never even look at these because the max bet's always $20 or $25. Right. But there's a profit boost. Becker scores 20 and the Wings win at plus 325 here.
Okay, let me check now.
That's not. I didn't know what she was averaging, how likely the 20-plus points was. But if they're going to give up 35 in the fourth.
She's averaging 17.7 on the year.
So it's not that far off her average.
No,
the average is 18.
Sure.
Plus 325.
Okay.
Max bet $25.
Okay.
I wasn't going to get that involved anyhow.
Lock it in.
Let's lock in the boost.
The Lynx are playing at the Dream. Dream opened up 1.5. And earlier this morning, they were still favored by 1 or 1.5. That has since flipped. Nafisa Collier, dynamite player, the leading candidate to win the MVP in this league. She was announced as being probable in this game and going to be starting as well. DK just went to 4 in the game as well. The Dream, it's a good basketball team now. Collier back, worth that many points in your opinion?
Remember right before the All-Star break, she was out for 5 games last year?
Uh-huh.
They were 0-5 against the spread in those 5 games. She's really important to them.
Oh,
I think they're better than they were last year. But, this girl is the MVP. So I was trying to make the argument last week that the Dream were the third best team. And now I know they were upset. But I think this is a tough game even with Collier. I would lean to take the points. And I would lean to the over also, 158.
Good, okay. Do you have an opinion on the Liberty playing at the Mercury?
I keep hearing Ionescu might not play. Is she in? Is she out? Is she in? Is she out? If she's not playing, I would take Phoenix, but I don't know that to be a fact. The line suggests she might not.
Right.
The Liberty are in a bit of a lull.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's a long season, Mike. Like any grueling sport, right?
42 games, isn't it?
44, I think, yeah.
Oh, did they go to 44
They
now?
went to this year, yeah. I'm actually surprised that you're right. The spot tonight for the Fever, we don't have a ton of back-to-backs here. And they're making them, this whole week is all... Remember how badly they screwed the Fever out of the gates last year when Clark just got done playing?
Played 11 games in 20 days, and 8 of the 11 were against the top 4 teams in the league.
Right.
Lobo pointed it out before. There was only one other team that ever had a schedule like that, and they went 1-10 in those. And what they ended up being 4-7.
Yeah, it was not good. No. And, what can you possibly do here with the Seattle Storm now laying 19.5 against Connecticut Sun?
Connecticut is really bad.
They're awful. That's as bad as it gets.
They lost by 53 to the Liberty.
Yeah. Wow.
They lost their head coach and all 5 starters. You ever heard of a team like that?
Because they were a factor last year.
Well, remember they complained. They made the playoffs, and they complained because they could only practice half court when they were playing against the Fever because there was a 2-year-old birthday party.
That's right, yes.
To the other half of the court.
Oh my God.
That was one of the old no hyperbole.
Wow. So let me ask you this then, because Caitlin Clark, now I believe this is her 7th game that she's going to miss on the year. What if she misses a dozen?
But she's not. Are you asking about MVP?
I am.
Oh, she's not the MVP.
No. I'm going to flip it on you.
Oh.
For people who like to do the cross-port parlays, including Nafisa Collier on those cross-port parlays, is that something that you would consider?
What are her odds now?
Oh,
Collier?
She's got to be odds on.
Is she that low?
Oh, she's been odds. Yeah, I haven't looked in a minute.
To start
but
the season, she was over 2-1, or close to 3-1.
Oh,
that's why I thought the value was all on the Lynx because everything was Liberty Fever in the betting markets.
Right. We'll have to look that up during the break, but it's just something to where. Again, you're not going to be betting Cooper Flagg today to win Rookie of the Year next year. But if you want to get involved in cross-sport parlays that go into the college football playoffs, whatever, right now, adding Nafisa Collier to win the WNBA MVP, I think might be one of those additions that you might want to put on there. You could do that. You could do Sinner to win Wimbledon. You could do, a team at plus 150 that you like to make the college football playoff. And the payoff would be, a few months down the road. You don't have to wait till next June to get that money in your account if it cashes.
Mine is $2.
I figured it was going to be that much.
I didn't know it was that heavy already.
Yeah. I think it was higher than that, actually. Yep. But she's one of my favorite, not that I have a long list here, but her game is incredible.
She's a great post game.
Up next, In Pocket Plays. We'll recap last night's action, tell you what we're adding for tonight and beyond on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Was on coke if his girlfriend was not done. These games are a burial, a blowout, a human lock. You can bet your children's unborn children on these games.
I was so good that whenever I bet, I could change the odds for every bookmaker in the country.
Here we go. Wings money line. We just talked about it. Plus 105 against the Fever. Surprised that there's still a dog in this game against Indiana with no Caitlin Clark tonight. I'd really like to have 6.5, 7 in pocket. Man, oh man. Also, first quarter under 43.5, laid 30 cents with that one. 9 straight unders in the first for Dallas. I'm struggling in my mind, picturing how the Fever, they could easily struggle. The cohesiveness might not be there offensively without Caitlin. Dallas clearly has a pretty damn good defense. I'll go under on that train. Rays first 5, money line against the Orioles. Played it a couple different times today, minus 133 and minus 140. They have been really good in the first 5 in the last 12 games. And I have to find a way to get involved with this Rays team. Maybe I can just lay a smaller number against the Orioles, but this is a way of avoiding getting to the bullpens. But I trust Tampa anyway, but give me them in the first 5, and I'm going under. Had to do it. Mariners, Rangers, first 5, 3.5 is the number. With Evaldi taking on Logan Gilbert, I laid $1.02 with that number.
Okay, just the one game was last night, and I got there with the Mets despite the Canning Achilles tear, 4-0 over the Braves, so we closed there. Tonight and through the weekend, we have a handful of plays. Mitch, I've been watching Linda Noskova, the young Czech tennis player, just 20 years old. Very good on grass. She had Pegula beat today. She the first 8 points of the match, Pegula takes. Breaks her serve to love, then serves to love. She fought her way back into the match. She was serving 1-3, 30-40. She was plus 370. I didn't get in on her there. She held and then broke, and I bet her at plus 140 in the match. She was serving for the match in the second set. Pegula broke her and then dominated her in the third. But I think the odds on her at Wimbledon are way too long. She plays with a lot of power. She changes up her serve well. So 50-1 on Noskova. I'll add other players. I'm not going to have one shot at 50-1, but I wanted to lock that in now because I think her very good grass court season leading up to it, her odds are going to drop. Here's a Malinsky play for us. We'll take Berrios and the Blue Jays tonight against the Red Sox, who are coming home off a 9-game West Coast road trip. Bello starting for the Red Sox I think just too many runners on base. And Berrios, for as much as we criticized him in past years, has actually been an innings eater for Toronto this year. I gotta support the guy Savali, who said it was unfathomable to put him to the bullpen so this kid Jacob Mizorowski could start for Milwaukee. He gave up 4 in the second inning, or the first and the second, to Toronto on Saturday. Pitched very well. Completed 7 innings. Giants coming off being swept by the Marlins. I'm going to do it again. I'll bet the White Sox for the second time this week, but I'm going to play them first 5 because, as you pointed out in that segment, they're better in the first 5 and overall. Second worst record, but a middling first 5 record. So White Sox first 5 tonight, plus 120. We did bet an under, first 5 under in the Mets-Pirates. That's Peterson going against Mitch Keller tonight. Lay the juice 120, under 4.5. I like the Peterson strikeout props over as well, not an official play. I'm with you on the Rays. They've only lost 1 first 5 in the last 12. Playing great baseball. I've been riding them blindly. I got to have some action on them tonight. So we're going to do it with your first 5 bet, minus 133 at Baltimore against Sagano. I didn't know because of this morning when I was going through it who was going to start for the Twins. It was undecided, but they're throwing the Slim Reaper, David Festa. What are you going to get out of Festa? He's good the first time through the lineup. And Sawyer Gibson-Long for the Tigers, I watched him pitch Saturday or Friday, whenever it was, against Tampa Bay last weekend. I like this game over 8.5. I think you're going to get to both bullpens early. And I'm with you, Wings. I think the Wings should be favored tonight. No Caitlin, terrible scheduling spot for the Fever. And I agree with your play about totals here. Maybe even play the total under. The Wings play with a very deliberate pace. A very, very deliberate pace. And without Caitlin, the Fever are not going to push. You know, she push the ball. Totally different pace without her in it. So I understand the underplay as well.
Very good, Mike. Best of luck.
You too.
Need a proxy? You can join the world's biggest football contest with one trip to Vegas anytime before the season starts. Trusted by thousands of players over the last 9 seasons. Winners Circle Proxy Service helped clients win more than $9.3 million in the last 2 seasons. Learn more about using a trusted proxy service. Visit winnerscircleproxy.com/vsin. Again, that's winnerscircleproxy.com/vsin. When can we expect the first episode or 2 of the quest for $14.2 million based on Circuit Survivor last year to drop?
Have you got some inside info here?
I do not.
Oh.
All I know is that, can I say this on the air? Stop me if you need to. Derek said there was a screening a couple of weeks back, and he was going to go to the Suncoast and buy popcorn in bulk to bring it for everybody.
Well, he did.
It's his play.
He had these 4 big. He doesn't go to the movie. He just goes and buys the popcorn.
That's his move, yeah.
I didn't know that.
I stopped short. But
I ate the popcorn at the screening.
How was it? In commute over here, that's a good 25 minutes.
Which, the popcorn or the screening?
Well,
the popcorn was fine. It won't be tomorrow. Let's just put it that way. We've got some work to do. I'm glad we had Crazy Bill 80. He was in the meeting as well. He was in the screening. And people really don't believe this if you know Bill, but he was a big-time sports editor in Chicago. People would think that he has no connection to sports, but he does have some connection.
Did you see the newsletter the other day? He put that he has watched approximately 4,000 Cubs games. Did he say watched or been to?
No, it can't be.
There's no way he's been to. It had
at 80 a year. How could he been to 4,000 games?
Well, I mean,
that
was
his
his
story
number.
about how the White Sox fans always complain the Cubs get too much coverage in the papers. But Bill was a sports editor. If you don't know, he's famous for the headline, the Bartman game. It's a very famous headline.
That's right.
The mitt hits the fan. Bill 80 penned that. Anyhow, Bill watched the screening as well, and he made a very salient point. Storytelling is important. Right, you have to craft the story. So we have some work to do. Tons of footage.
Oh, I can't imagine how much they shot.
Some work. The editing now will become the trick to it, because you're obviously trying to get this on a big market like a Netflix or something like that, where you would go out to millions of eyes instead of the hundreds of thousands that maybe watch it on VSiN.
Yeah. When I was in broadcasting school at the great Madison Media Institute in the incredible college town of Madison, Wisconsin. The TV side, our teacher, she was absolutely awful that the program had to stop. But there was something said at the time, too much is never enough. First time I ever heard that. So we'd have to go out with cameras and shoot stuff, and we're trying to learn about every aspect of television broadcasting, again, until the class actually stopped because she was so incompetent. That was actually one of the smart phrases used. And I'm like, okay, so that, for the people who are running this, who put together I can't even imagine the amount of hours overall of footage that they have.
Well, think about in the month of August and in the few weeks leading up, how many people they're interviewing. They have to cast the net so wide. You've got, 14 million entries last year, and you're hoping you get a handful that make it into December.
I know.
For the storytelling aspect of it,
sure,
right?
That's exactly right.
Now, your wife was involved in film media as an investigative reporter, right? I mean,
I thought you were going to say she was involved in the show.
No, but you understand that life of.
Oh yeah.
Of
graduated from UCLA. She's got quite the background, let me tell you. Mm-hmm. For people who don't, and I'll throw this in there. I had the conversation over the weekend. She was Phil Hartman's nanny. Did you know that?
She's not that old. Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
Oh, for Phil Hartman.
For
not
Phil
when
Hartman.
he was a child.
No. Went to UCLA when they won the national title in college basketball. Just broadcasted.
96, she was there in 96.
Yeah. So,
Jimmy Herrick.
I just gave away something that.
Well, we don't know. There's a 4-year slide there.
Right. Delete that, please. Can we go back and hit that? That's That's inaccurate. That's a lie. I made that number up.
No, when people say Chef Lorraine, they think that she's just been a chef her whole life. She's been many things. And now a mom.
She's great at it.
Yeah.
We were living in San Francisco, and she wanted to get out. That's where she's from. She goes, I can't do it anymore. And I said, well, what would you do if you never got paid for it? She goes, I'd be a chef. I'm like, look up the culinary schools in Las Vegas if that's where you're going to move back to. So it was all good. But I can't wait to watch it. I'm sure it's going to tighten up the shows, the Quest for 14.2.
You and Paul are in it. We watched episodes 1 and 2 as they had been edited. And you guys were in it talking about it.
I think there was at one point I was complaining about Sebastian. I wonder if they're going to use that or not. They're not. They're going to get that out.
I will edit that out.
Oh, it was no complaint. I was like, first of all, we just adopted a baby. And now it's like, here's Survivor, pal. Let's have some fun. So, anyway, great job this week, Mike.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good weekend. Stay sane.
You too. Have fun tonight.
Yeah, will do. Stay tuned. VSiN Prime Time with Greg Peterson following us for 4 hours. Then it's the Sports Gambling Podcast all the way until 2 a.m. Eastern Time. You can wake up with Tim Murray with the VSiN Weekend Morning Line at 10 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. Good luck this weekend. We'll see you.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.